meet our little celebrities. This man once had the reputation of being a fairly good magician.
Before Paul Reubens would take on an array of characters like Spleen and Mystery Men, the Penguin's father in both Batman Returns and Gotham, as well as countless voice acting roles on television and appearances in stuff like WWE. Before Paul Reubens would pass away at the age of 70 after a private battle with cancer. Now, Paul Reubens, he had one hell of a run in Hollywood, a career marked with incredible heights and devastating lows. Now, he was the original Blippi, but in a sense, also the original R. Kelly. Love him or hate him, we all have made mistakes, and despite the negative headlines this child entertainer was faced with, well, he was still beloved amongst his industry peers. Now, following the announcement of his passing, well, Jimmy Kimmel, he posted to Twitter, Paul Reubens was like no one else, a brilliant and original comedian who made kids and their parents laugh at the same time. He never forgot a birthday and shared his genuine delight for silliness with everyone he met. My family and I will miss him. Now, his career had spanned over 50 years, so here we'll pay tribute to the life and career of Paul Reubens. Prior to his timely passing, here for you on Gone But Not Forgotten, or Before They're Gone, or I'm not sure what we title it. Now, this has certainly been a day of tragedy. There was also the news of Angus Cloud and French daredevil Remy Lucidi, and they all passed away on the last day of July in 2023. Now, we'll try and have a video made for each of these entertainers, but for now, let's get into the life and career of Paul Reubens. Paul Reubens was born Paul Reubenfeld on August 27, 1952, in Peaksville, New York, to Judy Rosen, a teacher, and Milton Reubenfeld, a car salesman, who had once upon a time had flown in the Air Forces for the US, the UK, and Israel. Now, Paul, he grew up in Sarasota, Florida, where his parents owned a lamp store, and during winters, well, the Ringling Brothers and the Barnum and Bailey Circus, well, they actually called Sarasota home. So young Paul, he counted such big top families as the Wellendas and the Zacchinis among his neighbors. Now, when he was 11 years old, he joined the local solo theater, and during the next 6 years, he appeared in a variety of plays. Now, after graduation from Sarasota High School in 1970, he attended Boston University for 1 year before deciding to drop out of school to try his shot at the big time. But he decided to drop his birth name. Instead, he would go with Paul Reubens, and with that new name, he head off to Hollywood. And when he got to Hollywood, well, things didn't pan out exactly as he had planned. He ended up having to work a string of odd-end jobs like a pizza chef and a Fuller brush salesman. Now, his acting career, it grew slowly and steadily with small roles in theater productions. He also got gigs at local comedy clubs and 4 guest appearances on The Gong Show. Now, this was back in 1976, and we actually found a clip.
For Suave and Debonair and 34 Ruby, the celebrity.
Now, he also became a member of the improv group The Groundlings, where he would start to cook up some original kooky characters, which included Pee Wee Herman. Now, Pee Wee appeared for only 10 minutes of The Groundlings show, but he nonetheless built up a considerable following, and word got around, and all of a sudden, Pee Wee Herman, well, he began to turn into the star of the 80s and the early 90s. Soon enough, the Pee Wee Herman show premiered in 1981, and it ran for 5 sellout months at the Los Angeles Roxy nightclub. HBO even taped a performance, and they aired it as a special. All of a sudden, the character, he was taking on a life of its own, and he would soon appear on late night television. Paul and Pee Wee's star that continued to rise as he was tapped for a motion picture directed by his pal Tim Burton, titled Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, and this was in 1985. Now, this went on to become a box office hit, earning $45 million against the $7 million budget. Now, he even landed himself a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Now, you gotta understand that he probably felt a little bit conflicted. He became more famous as Pee Wee Herman than as himself. But hey, when it happens, I guess you just gotta run with it. Now, following the success of his film, well, he signed on for CBS's Pee Wee's Playhouse, which went on for 5 years. And with that, he earned a staggering amount of money. He also agreed to only appear in public or in media as the character of Pee Wee Herman moving forward, which one can imagine, well, it likely caused him some problems. And this would also be where his downfall started. On July 26, 1991, on his summer vacation, well, Reubens, he was visiting his parents in Sarasota, and he sought escape from his boredom, so he decided to catch a show, an X-rated show. In fact, it was titled Nurse Nancy. Now, that night, it just turns out there was actually a police sting, and he was caught red-handed, literally, and arrested for sex charges when detectives allegedly saw him playing with his you-know-what. Now, he was released on $219 bail, and it was an embarrassing situation to say the least, but then when his mugshot was uncovered by the media, well, this started a media media frenzy like never before. And the scandal, well, it marked basically the end of Pee Wee Herman. Now, CBS, they dropped Playhouse and all its related merchandise from its shelves, and Paul Reubens was reduced to doing anti-drug infomercials. He couldn't book nothing. But of course, having once been at the top of the Hollywood ladder, well, he still had friends in the right places. So Paul, he would find work from time to time. Now, he appeared in Tim Burton's Batman Returns as the Penguin's father, which was a relatively small part, but who better to have played the role? Now, so much so, he was actually invited back to Gotham to reprise the role nearly 30 years later. Now, he landed smaller gigs like work as a vampire henchman in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he worked steadily as a voice actor, most notable in The Nightmare Before Christmas, also with Tim Burton, in which he played the character of Locke. Now, he also had a rather big role in 1999's Mystery Men as Spleen, which is a Ben Stiller film. Now, he worked plenty, but he would always be remembered as Pee Wee Herman, and then for that other thing, which would be, well, that would be a recurring problem for Paul. Yeah, it kind of happened again. Now, in 2002, Paul Reubens, he turned himself into the Hollywood division of the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD, and he was charged with misdemeanor possession of obscene material, improperly depicting a child under the age of 18 in sexual conduct. Now, this happened later after the LAPD, they investigated his home, and they found some old videotapes and a dozen photographs that may or may not have been child pornography. In March of 2004, the child pornography charges, they were dropped in exchange for Reuben's guilty plea. Now, this was to a lesser misdemeanor obscenity charge, but the damage to his name, it had been done. And well, his previous accusations were again brought back into the public discord. People are like, this guy again? Oh my God, do you remember what he did before? Oh, that's Pee Wee Herman. It was another nightmare. But for Paul, work always seemed to come his way. He found new opportunities over the years. He was in Reno 911. He was in 30 Rock, The Tripper, and Fox's Dirt. He had plenty of voiceover work as well. He would also get one more run as Pee Wee Herman in the early 2010s, this time through various live shows, which were a massive success. Now, some of his most recent or iconic work was on the TV series Gotham, where he again played the Penguin's unloving father. Now, he never married, nor did he have any children. Privately, Paul, he had been dealing with cancer for as long as 6 years. Now, he never actually told the public, and he died on July 30th, 2023 at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, located in Los Angeles. Now, his memory will long live on after he's gone. I mean, Pee Wee Herman's a household name. I grew up a little after all his success, or when I was a baby, he was at his height, but still, the VHSs, they were everywhere. The merchandise. But it was always like there was a stigma, like a fallen hero, almost like Blippi if he made more poo videos. I don't know. Anyways, guys, this is a sad one, and it's in a string of tragedies. We just had 3 entertainers pass away in one day. So lots to do around here for me. But yeah, all right, I'll see you guys in another video. Oh, please pay your condolences in the comments down below. All right.